Edmonton Oilers 5, San Jose Sharks 4. Welcome back to the day after reaction myself was. And last night was a very ridiculous hockey game in Edmonton against the San Jose Sharks. So much was happening. Poor officiating, sloppy goals, sloppy defense, an overtime thriller. Just a very back and forth game against the San Jose Sharks, who you would think would be tanking and wanting to lose games for Connor Bedard. Not in this instance. They really wanted to beat the Edmonton Oilers and really take an opportunity against Jack Campbell. They know that he hasn't had a good season, so they said, why not just fire everything we've got on him? Also, James Reimer had a surprisingly very good hockey game. However, back to Jack Campbell. On OilersNation.com on the day after, you can't trust Jack. It's not solely on Campbell's feet, but he sure didn't help the Oilers, that's for sure. This isn't meant to be me piling on when a guy is down already, but you can't talk about last night's game without his performance being mentioned. It's remarkable in a sense to just see how poorly Campbell's played this season. It's legitimately almost hard to believe. Well put by, who's this author on OilersNation.com? I'm pretty sure this is Zach Ling. It is Zach Ling. But he's got a point. Jack Campbell, as much as we want to believe in him and cheer him on, it hasn't been pretty with him, aside from January. Now, to be fair, the Oilers' defense in front of him was sloppy. I think the one Oiler that really stood out to me on defense, besides Matthias Ekholm, was Evan Bouchard. Him and Bouchard, as a pairing, have been really solid. I like the way Evan's been really just moving the puck and controlling the pace of the game. But besides that, I mean, I like Darnell Nurse. I don't want to, crap on him too much. Sure, maybe he made a few mistakes here and there that I probably missed, but he still got the overtime winning goal. And Darnell Nurse has, been an important part of this Oilers team this season. And Matthias Ekholm has been a great addition to help kind of take the load off his shoulders, in my opinion. And just back to Matthias Ekholm really quick. How awesome was it to see him score those 2 goals? A little bit sneaky. He roofs one top shelf, and then another one he kind of just, I don't know how that got past Reimer. He kind of backhanded it, deked in. That was, Reimer had a fantastic game, made huge stops, but he let in some interesting, weird goals. But we're not complaining. We won the hockey game. Now, the one thing I want to nail down from this hockey game was the officials. The refs were brutal for both sides. There was a moment where I was looking at the San Jose Sharks. I'm like, how is that not a penalty for the San Jose Sharks? That was clearly a penalty. And then there was that one moment with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins where he was grabbed, hugged by James Reimer. I'm like, that's not a penalty? How is that not a penalty? Are goalies allowed to do that now? Like, how did no one see that? And there was an instance where Kailer Yamamoto got tripped right in the front of the net. Stick got caught between his skates, and he just fell. I'm just kind of, is that not a penalty? Maybe not, but it was more so than Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and James Reimer hug that had me, wondering, what are we watching right now? And, I don't like to pile on the refs as much as some people because I know how bad they are. I've accepted that the NHL refs are terrible. I learned that back in 2017 with the Cam Talbot pad grab, so I don't like to pile on them too much because they're frankly terrible. And I think every NHL fan can agree with that, not just Oilers fans. It's a league-wide issue. The officials are bad. And when you have James Reimer clawing onto Ryan Nugent-Hopkins for whatever reason, and that's not being called, that's not a good look for the league, for the officials. But it's okay. Gary Bettman is going to come to Edmonton or wherever in the spring during the playoffs and say, our officials are fine. There's no issues. Clearly, I don't know what refereeing and calling a hockey game is like to Gary Bettman, but apparently that's fine, right? So maybe the NHLPA needs to say something. I'm surprised they haven't. It's just the officials haven't been good. They're inconsistent. And especially when Jeremy Kupal is calling all these offsides and the video team for the Oilers are saying, hey, offside, no goal. But 3 goals were called off. That was a hat trick for Jeremy Kupal. And there was somebody else who helps Kupal as well. They mentioned on the broadcast. I can't remember who, but shout out to them because they saved Jack Campbell's ass, the Oilers' ass last night. And ultimately, I just want to shout out Darnell Nurse. I was so happy to see him get that overtime winner. The guy gets so much criticism because of his contract. We know how much he makes. We know how much Darnell Nurse makes. He makes $9.5 million, 9.25, whatever it is. Regardless, he's an Edmonton Oiler. He plays against the best competition in the NHL. Plays a lot of minutes. Okay, maybe there's a reason why he's earned probably $8 million in my opinion, $7 million. He's definitely not a $4 million defenseman, but I like Darnell Nurse. Yes, he can be annoying at times, but the more minutes you're gonna play, the more prone you're gonna be to mistakes and forwards beating you. So, I don't know. I think that the Darnell Nurse hate is still a little too heavy, but what can you do, right? In my opinion, you gotta support Darnell Nurse. This isn't a situation like Jack Campbell where every game has been hard to watch, right? I think Darnell Nurse has had plenty of great games this year. Uh, so, but that's all I can say really from that game. It was just chaotic, right? Um, Thank you for tuning into the day after reaction. Myself was at the OilsNation.com for more. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.